Hello students, welcome to my channel Sunil Purwar. I have been teaching maths for 20 years and several of my students have got ranks in top 500 in JEE Mains and IIT Advanced, with best ranks being All India rank 5 in Mains and All India rank 13 in the advanced exam. And in today's session, I am going to discuss some very selected problems from definite integrals, okay? So before I discuss the questions, I am doing a quick summary of some of the very important properties of definite integrals. So first property में क्या है? Integral a to b f of x dx can be written as integral a to b f of y dy or equal to integral a to b f of t dt. So does it say? If it is f of x dx, you can choose any name of your choice. x के प्लेस में कुछ भी अल्फाबेट यूज कर सकते हैं, y, z, t, okay? So f of x dx you can replace as f of y dy or f of t dt or f of z dz and so on. और ये property a to b f of x dx, if you interchange the limits, okay, in the new integral you keep minus sign and both values are equal. Third property, this is the most powerful property of definite integrals and I usually refer this property as James Bond property for a quick reference, okay? James Bond property. So where no other property can work, this James Bond will save us, okay, and give us the answer comfortably. So what this property says, integral a to b f of x dx is equal to integral a to b f of a plus b minus x dx. What is a plus b? Sum of the limits. So whatever is the variable here, that has to be replaced by sum of the limits minus same variable. So if it is x, that will be replaced by sum of the limits a plus b minus x, where in the integrand only, Next property, where we use the odd and even nature of the function, okay? When sum of the limits is 0, okay, that means limits are of the form minus a to a, then the value of integral is directly 0 if the integrand function is what? Odd function. And if integrand function is an even function, if integrand function f of x is an even function, then minus a to a f of x dx becomes 2 times 0 to a, alright? This next property, integral 0 to 2a, alright, f of x dx becomes 0 if f of 2a minus x is equal to minus of fx, and on the other hand, if f of 2a minus x is f of x, the integral reduces to 2 times 0 to a f of x dx, okay? So these are the very important property, and don't forget this third property being the most powerful and frequently used in the questions. And last but not the least, Leibniz rule of differentiation, okay, for a definite integral. So you see, this is integral f of t dt. On integrating f of t, you will get a function of t. Your limits are functions of x. So the whole integral value will become ultimately function of x, whose derivative we want to find, okay, differentiating with respect to x, because this bracket value is function of what? X. तो उसको कैसे डिफरेंशिएट करते हैं, उसका डेरिवेटिव कैसे लिखना है? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल डिफरेंशिएट द अपर लिमिट, ओके, दिस इज लोअर लिमिट phi x, upper limit psi x, okay? So psi x, differentiate psi x, you get psi dash x, and substitute the same limit in the integrand, okay? If it is function of t, so t will be replaced by what? Upper limit, which is psi x right now. So it will become f of psi x. Repeat the same thing for the lower limit. So differentiate the lower limit, you get what? Phi dash x, and then substitute this lower limit in place of the variable, okay, in the integrand, which is t right now. So it will become f of, replace t by this lower limit, it becomes f of phi x. So here is your first question. Integral 0 to 1 e power x multiplied with x plus 1 sine square of x e power x and divided by this quantity, okay, dx. Now immediately you can recognize the question is dominated by this quantity x e power x. Take it as a substitution t, okay. Now if you differentiate both sides with respect to t, you get this thing. That means if you take e power x common now, so e power x 1 plus x dx is dt. So these three quantities, e power x, x plus 1, which is in the bracket, and this dx will become equal to what? dt. Done. Now this will become sin square t. Done. Sin square t. Done. And this will become sin square of e minus t, right? And whenever you are making a substitution, don't forget to write the new limits there. Okay, so old values, this is dx. Okay, so the old values are what? X is from 0 to 1. Alright, lower limit 0, upper limit 1. So for x is equal to 1, corresponding value of t is e. So corresponding upper limit is e. For lower limit x is equal to 0, corresponding lower limit is 0. Put x is equal to 0, t value also 0. So these are your new limits. Alright. Now, and as I have told you that James Bond property is the most powerful property and most frequently used property for the questions. So always give it the first preference in solving the while solving the questions of definite integrals. Okay. So let's apply the James Bond. So to use James Bond property, now you see this is dt. So you will replace t by what? Sum of the limits. 0 plus e, which is e minus t, in the integrand. So this is your integrand. Everywhere in the integrand you replace t as 1 minus t. Okay, so you get I equal to same limit 0 to e, and this becomes sin square of e minus t dt upon sin square of e minus t. If you make the substitution there, e minus t. So what is left there? T. So this will become t on this change. Sin square of t. Now let's add these two integrals. So 2i equal to. So you can see at once on adding them what you get? dt only. Okay. So on integrating you get e. Now again, this is a common area where students make mistake very frequently. This is not your answer. Okay, this will be first option mostly. Okay, the value obtained after adding the integral. Because why this is not the answer? Because this is the value of 2i, and question is asking this value, which is I. So our correct answer is what? I equal to, I value is what? E by 2. So here in this question I am highlighting three very important things. Number one, the James Bond property is the most powerful property. So you should give it a thought always. First thought for solving the question. Another two important points, that whenever you are making a substitutions, don't forget to change the limits. All of you must have definitely made this mistake at least once in your lifetime in solving the definite integrals, that you might have forgotten to change the limits. And another mistake is, why after applying the James Bond, don't jump to say that value obtained is the answer, because that will be the value of what? 2i, because if you have added the two integrals. So take care of these 3 points. So this is your second question. I equal to integral 0 to pi by 2 and somewhat bulky integrand. Now you see here it is cos x plus secant x, which we call secant x you can write 1 by cos x. Okay, so cos x plus 1 by cos x. That quantity I am calling what? T for the time being. And after that you can notice that if you divide this bracket quantities, if you divide this whole bracket quantity, okay, by cos square x, what would you have? Cos square x plus 3 plus 1 by cos square x. Okay, now let's connect the dots. If you do the squaring of this quantity, okay, you will have cos square x plus 1 upon cos square x plus 2 is equal to t square. So this quantity cos square x plus 1 upon cos square x we get here as what? T square minus 2. That becomes what? T square minus 2. So the whole bracket value will become what? T square plus 1. That will become what? T square plus 1. This bracket value. Now, since you have divided the denominator by cos square x, so to balance, divide numerator also by cos square x. Okay. So this will become sin cube x upon cos square x dx. I am not writing in terms of tan. Okay. You will understand very shortly why. Now, before we move further, using this substitution, let's write the new limits. So when x is pi by 2, cos pi by 2 0, okay, and this will become 1 by 0, okay. So t tends to what? Infinity. Now, let's see whether it is plus infinite or minus infinite, okay. So this is dx. X values are from 0 to pi by 2. Okay, in 0 to pi by 2, cos x is positive. So positive plus positive is positive number only. So t values are always positive. So that is infinite but positively biased. Okay, so for upper limit pi by 2, corresponding upper limit is what? Plus infinite. Take the lower limit 0. So on putting x is equal to 0, cos 0 1, again cos 0 1. So this becomes 2. T equal to 2. And this quantity is nothing but t only. So that becomes tan inverse of t. Now let's turn our attention to this numerator quantity. So I repeat the steps. This was the original integral. Okay. What I did, I divided both the numerator and denominator by cos square x. So this numerator divided by cos square x and this denominator divided by cos square x. So this part of the denominator divided by cos square x. So this is what we have. Okay. So you can say the things in this way also. You are seeing cos square x plus 1 by cos square x, which you can connect with what? Cos x plus 1 by cos x. Okay. So that is the motivation for taking this as the substitution. Cos x plus 1 by cos x is equal to t. And after doing the squaring, I have explained you this quantity is nothing but t square minus 2, and this bracket now became t square plus 1, and this became tan inverse of t. Now coming back to the numerator. If you differentiate both the sides, with respect to x, you will have what? Minus of sin x. Differentiate this as well. This will give you minus 1 upon cos square x, and then differentiation of cos x will give you minus sin x. So that will become ultimately sin x upon cos square x. Well, you can do the differentiation with your comfort and you can check this will arrive. Okay, is equal to dt by dx. So is equal to dt by dx. So that dx I bring here. Okay, so if you further simplify this, taking sin x common, okay, so you can see here, if you take sin x common, in fact you can take sin x upon cos square x common. So what do you get here? 1, and this will give you what? Minus cos square x. So this is nothing but sin square x. We'll make this as sin cube x. So you see sin cube x upon cos square x. So this quantity inside the bracket is nothing but sin cube x upon cos square x. Okay, is equal to sin cube x upon cos square x. I think no need to repeat. This is sin square x. So this will become sin cube x. Denominator cos square x dx. So this whole thing became now dt. Now this integral can be performed orally. In your mind you think tan inverse t as z. Okay, so dt upon 1 plus t square, that will become dz. So this whole thing becomes dz upon z. Okay, so what I said, take tan inverse t as z, tan inverse of t as z. Okay, and proceed. So you will have dz upon z, whose integral is nothing but integral will give you what? Ln z. Okay, so this integral value is nothing but ln of z. And what was z? Tan inverse of t. Now time to apply the limits, 2 to infinite. Okay, so with upper limit you will get tan pi by 2. So that is nothing but ln of pi by 2. So your answer is ln of pi by 2 minus, use the lower limit, that will give you ln of tan inverse 2. Okay, so this ln minus, for the lower limit, what's the value you got? Ln of tan inverse 2. So this is your answer. So this is your third question. Integral 1 by 2 to 2 x ln x upon square of 1 plus x square dx. Here you see the limits are reciprocal of each other. So in such question, generally the substitution, if this is dx, substitution x is equal to 1 by t is helpful. Alright, so let's try the substitution. x is equal to 1 by t. So dx will become minus of dt by t square, and don't forget to change the limits. So when x is 1 by 2, t value will be 2, and for x is equal to 2, t value is 1 by 2. And this will become 1 by t, ln of 1 by 2, x is what? 1 by t. So ln of 1 by t is nothing but minus ln t. Replace dx as minus dt by t square. Further, in the denominator, on putting x as 1 by t, you will get 1 plus 1 by t square whole square. Okay? Now, simplify this. So first of all, I am absorbing this minus sign to interchange the limits. So they will become 1 by 2 to 2. Okay, right now 2 to 1 by 2, using this minus sign, they become 1 by 2 to 2. Now there is one more minus sign, keep it on hold. So minus of ln t dt. Okay, and simplify this bracket. Okay, you will get t square plus 1 whole square, and LCM will be your t square. On squaring, that will give you what? T power 4. So upon t power 4. Okay, so if you simplify that, don't forget this is 1 by t, this is 1 by t square. Okay, so what is the net resultant there? T will come here, so it is nothing but minus of t. So simplify that, you get this thing. Now I have in the beginning revised the properties of definite integrals. So using the very first property, okay, this is what? F of t dt. This is f of t dt. Our original integral was like a function of x dx. So again I am using the same name x here. Okay, so this f of t dt I am writing as what? F of x dx. So I equal to, bring this minus sign outside the integral, minus of, copy the limits, and what do you see here? T ln t dt upon 1 plus t square whole square. So this is f of t dt, which I am going to rewrite as f of x dx using the first property. So what would it become? X ln of x divided by 1 plus x square whole square, square of 1 plus x square, and dx. But notice this is nothing but the given integral. Is it not same as the given integral? It is. Okay, which is I. This value we call I in the beginning. So what you see? I equal to minus of I. So what's the I value? 0. So our answer for I value is 0. Now in this question, it is given f of x is equal to integral 1 to x tan inverse t by t dt, where x is a positive number. Okay, then you have to find f of e square minus f of 1 by e square. So if you look at this number, okay, this is of the type what? F of t minus f of 1 by t. So if you say this number is x, say, if you say this number is x, then this is what? 1 by x. Okay, so we need a value of the type f of x minus f of 1 by x. Okay, so this is the f of x given to us. Now let's find out f of 1 by x. Understood why we are finding f of 1 by x? Because this quantity is of the type, if I say this number is x, this is 1 by x, and it becomes f of x minus f of 1 by x. So let's write f of 1 by x. So wherever you see x in here, you replace it by 1 by x. So is equal to integral 1, and this will become what? 1 by x. Rest of the things will be same. Now, so original limits were 1 and x, new limits are 1 and 1 by x. So this is again motivating us to take the substitution t is equal to 1 by z. Understand? Why? Because when t is 1 by x, what will be the z value? X. And when t equal to 1, z value will also become 1. So we can get our old limits back, 1 and x. The old limits we will get back if we take this substitution. Alright? So is equal to, when t is 1 by x, z value is x only. As I have explained, this is 1. And this becomes tan inverse of 1 by z. This is 1 by z. And dt would become minus dz upon z square. Minus dz upon z square. Okay. Now, this is simplified value of what? F of 1 by x only. F of 1 by x. Then you see, this looks insignificant. Okay. In several questions you might have not found much use of this, but every data of the question has something to say. Alright. Here it's very important in fact. So x is positive. Okay. So that means what? What are these 1 and x? These 1 and x are the values of z. Okay. This is dz, no? So z values are from, so you are integrating. So this integral means what? You are integrating for z values. This is dz. So you are integrating for z values from 1 to x. Z values are from 1 to x. And x is what? Positive number. Okay. X is a positive number. This is positive. So in short, z is positive. Okay. So this implies z values are what? Positive. Z values are positive. So for positive number z, tan inverse of 1 by z will become what? Can be written as cot inverse of z. Okay. So this is 1 to x. Tan inverse of 1 by z became cot inverse of z, because z was a positive number. Okay. And what is the scenario here? This is minus, which we can write outside the integral, minus, okay, dz upon z. This is 1 by z and z square will produce z. Now using the very first property, we can write this integral as, you see, what is this portion? F of z dz. So f of z dz can be written as f of t dt. Okay. So this thing we can rewrite as minus sign copied, 1 to x. Okay. This is f of z dz. Using the first property, f of z dz can be written as what? F of t dt. Because our original integrand was having this, what? F of t dt. So this can be written as cot inverse of t upon t dt. Okay. Now this is f of 1 by x. Continue. Alright. Now, so this minus sign I can transfer over here. So this will become what? Minus of f of 1 by x. Okay. So in the next step, so let me do the numbering. Say this relation is 1, and from here, okay, this minus I am transferring here. So minus of f of 1 by x, would become integral 1 to x, cot inverse of t dt by t. Let me name this is 2, relation 2. Now, if you add the relation 1 and 2, let's add the relation 1 and 2, okay? So 1 plus 2. So if you do 1 and 2, there's sum of LHS would be f of x minus f of 1 by x, okay? What will you have? F of x minus f of 1 by x. Now let's add the RHS. So their RHS are having integrals. This is 1 to x, this is also 1 to x. Let's add them, those two integrals. Okay. So have a look at this quantity. Now, so this quantity is going to be sum of this integral and this integral. Okay. So if you add these two integrals, you will have integral 1 to x only. Dt by t is common quantity, dt by t. And if you permit me, what will be the sum of remaining quantities in the numerator? Tan inverse t plus cot inverse t. And you know, tan inverse t plus cot inverse t is nothing but pi by 2. So that I am writing directly. So for that I had asked your permission. Okay, pi by 2. Got that? So what will you have? Dt by t into tan inverse t plus cot inverse t. Tan inverse t plus cot inverse t. That is your pi by 2. Now you can see, hence f of x minus f of 1 by x equal to, you can integrate this, pi by 2, this will be ln t, apply the limits, so that is nothing but ln of x only. Now, to get this value, you need to put x is equal to e square. So if you put x is equal to e square, this quantity becomes f of e square minus f of 1 by e square, and this becomes pi by 2 ln of e square. Okay, pi by 2 ln of e square, and this number is nothing but 2. So your answer is what? Pi. Your answer is 1. At one step I kept emphasizing, as z is positive, that's why we could write tan inverse of 1 by z as cot inverse z. So don't forget this property of inverse trigonometry, that tan inverse of 1 by z is cot inverse z only when z is positive, and if z is negative, then tan inverse of 1 by z will be written as minus pi plus cot inverse z. Okay, so take care of this. Now have a look at this question. F is a function from R to R satisfying these conditions. F of 2 minus x is equal to f of 2 plus x, and f of 4 minus x is equal to f of 4 plus x for all real numbers x. Further, integral 0 to 2 f of x dx is given 1 by 10. So you have to tell the value of integral 0 to 60 f of x dx. Okay. Here, these two conditions are very important. Okay. In fact, I can give you a result. If f of a minus x is equal to f of a plus x, and f of b minus x is equal to f of b plus x for all x belonging to R, then f of x will be a periodic function. Then f of x will be a periodic function. A very important point not to be forgotten. Okay. So then f of x will be a periodic function, with period equal to is equal to 2 times mod of b minus a. Now, so this is period. I am not claiming it to be fundamental period, but it will be a period. Okay. So how it is happening, you can understand. Now in the first relation, let's say this is first and this is second relation. So in the first relation, you replace x as 1 by x first of all. After all, these relations are given to be true for what? Any real number x. So if x is a real number, a minus x is also a real number. Okay. So replace x by a minus x, you get f of x is equal to f of 2a minus x. If you do a similar thing in the second relation, what is that? Replacing x as b minus x. So if you do this, replacing x by b minus x, okay, 2 will imply f of x is equal to f of 2b minus x. So what it means, f of both are f of x, so this means f of 2a minus x is equal to f of 2b minus x. Let me write that. So f of 2a minus x is equal to f of 2b minus x. Now, once again let's use similar substitutions. So I am replacing x by 2a minus x this time. I am replacing x by what? 2a minus x. So this would become, LHS would become what? F of x and is equal to, RHS would become f of x plus 2b minus 2a. So you see, what you have got is of the form. Now these relations were true for what? All x. So these are also true for what? All x. Okay. So this is also true for what? All x. So what you see here, f of x plus t. This is your number t. This is a constant number t. So what you see, f of x plus t is equal to f of x. Okay, for all x. And that means what? T is the period of function. T is the period of function. Okay. Hence, period value is equal to what? 2b minus 2a. Now this quantity may be negative. Okay, we don't know. So to make it positive, as you know, period is always a positive number. We are writing what? Mod of this. Okay, which is nothing but 2 times of mod of b minus a. Okay, because you know the periodicity, from the periodicity definition, you know whether it is f of x plus t or f of x minus t. For if f of x is a function periodic with period t, then f of x plus t or f of x minus t, they both will be equal to what? F of x. So we don't know whether this number is positive or negative. If this is positive, straight away t is equal to 2b minus 2a. And if this is negative, we will say minus of this number is the period. Comparing with what? F of x minus t is equal to f of x. So ultimately, this is the conclusion that you should never forget whenever you see two such relations. You see two such relations. Number A and B are involved. This means what? Function f of x is symmetric about the vertical line x is equal to a, and this means graph of fx is symmetric about the vertical line x is equal to b. So whenever a function, graph of a function is symmetric about two vertical lines x is equal to a and x is equal to b, that function is going to be periodic with period 2 times mod of b minus a. Okay, so don't forget this information. All right. So using the information that was told just now, what is going to be the period of this function here? Okay, so you can say a value is 2 and b value is 4. So this fx is going to be periodic with period t equal to 2 times mod of 4 minus 2, that is nothing but 4. So fx under these two conditions is going to be a periodic function with period equal to 4. Make a note of it. Now let's write down this required value. Integral 0 to 60 f of x dx, t equal to 4. Now you are well aware of this property that integral zero to nt is nothing but n times 0 to t. So using that property, 60 means what? 15 times 4. So this integral can be written as, using this property, n. How many times? 15 times. Integral 0 to 4 f of x dx. Now, you see, now I am going to apply 0 to 2a property. I am going to apply 0 to 2a property. So you see, concentrate on this integral for applying 0 to 2a property. So for 0 to 2a property, you remember we check f of 2a minus x, whether it is equal to f of x or minus f of x. Okay, so this is your number 2a. So let's check f of 2a minus x. So what is that value? 2a? 4. So f of 2a minus x, let's find out. So using the given condition, f of 4 minus x is nothing but f of 4 plus x. F of 4 plus x. This you can write as f of x plus 4. But using the periodicity concept, f of x plus 4, remember the period of the function f is what? 4. So using the periodicity concept, f of x plus 4 will be nothing but f of x. F of x plus 4 will be nothing but f of x. So what you notice? F of 2a minus x is equal to f of x. F of 2a minus x equal to f of x. So using 0 to 2a property, this integral will become 2 times, this integral will become 2 times 0 to 2. 2 times 0 to 2 f of x dx. This integral. And number 15 was already in multiplication. Copy that. Now, so you see, integral 0 to 2 f of x dx is given to us. How much? 1 by 10. Okay. Integral 0 to 2 f of x dx is given how much? 1 by 10. And this number would become 15 into 2, 30. So 30 into 1 by 10, this value. So your answer would be 3. That's your answer. So this is the next question where you have to find the sum of these two integrals multiplied with 10. Okay. So you can see there is a lot of things common in the two integrands. Denominator x, this sine square pi x, that is also common there. So we will try to connect the dots here. Okay. So what I will do, this first integral I am going to call I1, this I will call I2, and I will work them out separately. Okay. So I1 is equal to integral 0 to 2 x sine square pi x dx upon this denominator we can write as x minus 1 whole square plus 2. Now you see, use the substitution x minus 1 is equal to t. So I1 will become limits minus 1 to 1. Okay. This will become t plus 1 sine square pi of t plus 1 dt. Okay. This will mean dx is equal to dt. So dx becomes dt, and this will become t square plus 2. Now this is nothing but sine square pi t plus pi. Sine square pi t plus pi. Pi t plus pi. You know, sine pi plus theta is minus sine theta, but a square will make it again positive. So this will become what? Sine square of theta, which is nothing but pi t. Okay. So this is integral minus 1 to 1 t plus 1 sine square of pi t upon t square plus 2 and dt. Alright. Now, whenever limits are minus 1 to 1, we always pay for odd function to be integrand. Okay. But this is not the odd function completely. Okay. But part of it is odd function. Okay. So this you can split as integral minus 1 to 1 t into sine square plus minus 1 to 1 into sine square. Okay, that is nothing but sine square pi t dt upon t square plus 2. Got that? So once t into this and then 1 into this, we get these two integrals. Now if you look at this integrand, it's an odd function. Is it or not? You can check that. Okay. If you say this is f of t, f of minus t is equal to minus ft. So this is an odd function. So it will contribute 0. So what is the value of this integral? 0. Alright. So this first integral value, which I called I1. So hence I1 is equal to, it was this, then became this, and then became this. So part of this became 0. So what is left? minus 1 to 1 sine square pi t dt upon t square plus 2. So now if you cooperate, you can check this is an even function. This is an even function, and use the property when your integrand is what? An even function. Okay, is an even function. So minus a to a, integral of even function will become what? 2 times 0 to a. Okay, so that becomes 2 times integral 0 to 1 sine square of pi t dt upon t square plus 2. So this is your I1. In a similar way, we will work out I2 and then we will attempt to find the final value of this square bracket. Okay. So this was our I1. Now let's simplify I2 in a similar way. So now I2 is equal to this integral 1 to 2. This is nothing but x minus 1 whole square sine square pi x dx upon x minus 1 whole square plus 2. So once again you see this x minus 1 is the motivation to take substitution, x minus 1 equal to t. So that will make I2 equal to, change the limits, 0, and this will become what? 1. Alright, t square sine square of, so that will become what? Sine square of pi into t plus 1. In the previous simplification of I1, you have seen this will become what? Sine square of pi t only. So that I am writing directly, sine square of pi t. This value is sine square of pi t, and this will become what? T square plus 2, and dx will become dt. Dx becomes dt. So here is I1 and here is I2, and required value. And what was your answer? For your answer you need 10 times of I1 plus I2. Okay, so our answer is going to be what? 10 times of I1 plus I2. So let's add I1 and I2. Okay, so from here let me find out I1 plus I2. As the two integrals are having the same limits, you can just add their integrands. So that will become what? Integral 0 to 1 dt upon t square plus 2 is common. Dt upon t square plus 2 is common. Now sine square pi t is also common there. Sine square of pi t is also common. Now, so after taking this quantity common, okay, you see what is left there? T square here, and what is left here? 2. This 2 we can send inside. Okay, so plus 2. So some good news for us, this t square plus 2 cancels. Okay, so I1 plus I2 is nothing but 0 to 1 sine square of pi t. Okay, so let's evaluate the answer value. 10 times of integral 0 to 1 sine square of t pi dt of dt. This you can convert into cos 2 theta form. Okay, so 10 times integral 0 to 1 minus cos 2 theta, that is what? 2 t pi upon 2 dt. So this is a simple integral. You can calculate this on integration and applying the limits. This will contribute 0. Okay, find out y, and this portion 1 by 2 dt will give you what? 1 by 2 after integral. So your answer is what? 10 into 1 by 2, which is nothing but 5. Now look at this next question. By looking at the question, immediately the first thought that must come to your mind is applying the Leibniz rule of differentiation. Okay, whenever you are having an integral with variable limit, most of the time that Leibniz rule of differentiation, which I had revised in the beginning will be used to answer the question. So let's differentiate both sides. So f dash x is equal to this derivative will become what? Cos x. Now this is function of t dt. After applying the limits, this will become what? Function of x. This whole thing is now function of what? X. So using that Leibniz rule of differentiation, write the derivative of this portion. Okay, differentiate the upper limit, which gives you 1. Okay, and substitute the upper limit in place of t. This is dt, so in place of t you will substitute this number, this quantity. Okay, so that becomes f dash x into 2 sin x minus sin square x. Alright, then you will repeat the procedure for lower limit, whose derivative is, the lower limit is 0 and its derivative is also 0. So minus 0 into whatever was expected there, not needed, because in the multiplication 0 will make that whole thing 0. Now f dash x is equal to cos x plus, let's see this part here, f dash x 2 sin x minus sin square of x. Take this term on the LHS. So what is the net coefficient of f dash? This will become sin square x minus 2 sin x on other side, okay, plus 1. Sin square x minus 2 sin x plus 1 equal to, what is left? Cos x on RHS. But this is nothing but sine of x minus 1 whole square, or 1 minus sin x whole square. Okay, so this value cos x is nothing but f dash x into, what is it? 1 minus sin x, square of 1 minus sin x, 1 minus sin x whole square. So from here you can write f dash x. Okay, hence f dash x is equal to cos x upon this, cos x upon square of 1 minus sin x. Now integrate both sides. So f of x is equal to this integral. Okay, integral of this thing, which you can quickly accomplish by taking the substitution 1 minus sin x as t in your mind. Got that? So in your mind you try to do it orally. 1 minus sin x is t. Okay, so minus of cos x dx will become dt. Okay, I will not say anything. So 1 minus sin x is equal to t. Think. Okay, what are you going to get? Integral of minus dt upon t square. Okay, and this will become 1 by t. I repeat, what is the substitution? 1 minus sin x is equal to t. So you utilize this substitution, you will get this. Now on integrating this, okay, sorry, on integrating this you got 1 by t, and what was your t? 1 up, and what was your t? 1 minus sin x. Okay, so this is what we have. F of x is equal to 1 by t, which is 1 minus sin x, plus some constant of integration, plus c. Now in the given relation, if we put x is equal to 0, you see f of 0 is what? 0. Alright, what was the limit of integral? What was the limits of integral? 0 to x. So if you put x is equal to 0 in the given relation, you will get f of 0 is equal to 0. So from the given relation, f of 0 is 0. Now utilizing this information, what you have? C is equal to minus 1. Am I right? F of 0 is 0. So this implies C equal to minus 1. So your f of x is now 1 upon 1 minus sin x minus 1. Now you have to find what f of pi by 6. So when you put pi by 6 here, okay, this will become what? 2. This whole value will become what? 2 minus 1. So your answer is what? 1. No one should worry about it. What I said in the given relation, okay, the question, okay, you put x is equal to 0, you will get f of 0 is equal to 0. Now in this question, f of x is given to be this, and question is asking you to find the range of this function 2 minus f of x upon pi. So as I had mentioned in the previous question, whenever you are having an integral with variable limit, okay, there is a high scope of applying Leibniz rule of differentiating an integral, okay, to get the answer. Now if you look at this question, let's see what best can be done. First of all, let's assess the situation, okay, what actually is present in the question there, okay. So f of x is equal to, now this is dt, so anything not depending on t will be what? Treated as constant, okay, over here. So this is sin x, so this is dt, so integral is with respect to t, alright. So anything not depending on t will be constant, okay, for this integral, and you know, in a definite integral, constants can be taken in and out the integral sign in multiplication. So this sin x will move out because it's a constant right now, okay. So sin x into, what is that, 0 to pi f of t dt. Now by the same logic, this cos x will move out, okay, this cos x will move out outside the integral. So cos x integral 0 to pi by 2 f dash t dt plus a constant 2 is there, plus 2. So this is how you have simplified the given data. Now further, you see, after integrating this and applying the limits, what is this value? This value is a constant. This value is just a constant. Let's say this value is a. Similarly, after completing the integration, this value is again a constant. Call that to be b. So what you notice now? You notice your fx is a function of the form. A sin x, understood? F of t dt, your integral will be a function of t. After applying the limit, what would you get? A constant. I am naming that constant as a, and the constant over here I am calling b. So your function f of x is of what form? A sin x plus b cos x plus 2. So this is your function. Make a note of it. So this integral was called a. Alright. So write that a equal to integral 0 to pi f of t dt. Alright. So 0 to pi, this was your f of x. Okay. Now, so if this is your f of x, what will be f of t? A sin t plus b cos t plus 2. Alright. These are simple functions which you can integrate, and on integrating them, this part will give you 2a, this part will give you 0, and this part will give you what? 2 pi, which you can verify. So what you have now? A equal to 2a plus 2 pi. That means a value is minus 2 pi. Make a note of it. Alright, a value we have got minus 2 pi. Further recall, this integral was called b. Rewrite it here. So b equal to integral 0 to pi by 2 f dash t dt, alright, whose integral is what? F of t. Apply the limits 0 to pi by 2. So this becomes f of pi by 2 minus f of 0. F of pi by 2 minus f of 0. Here is your f of x. This is your f of x. Okay. So by making use of this fx, what is f of pi by 2? F of pi by 2 will be nothing but a plus 2, and this f of 0 will give you b plus 2. So we have got b equal to what is the simplification here? A minus b. A minus b. So that means b value is a by 2. And what was a? Minus 2 pi. Okay. So b value will become what? Minus pi. B equal to minus pi. So we have got the values of a and b. Now getting a and b values means we have got the function f of x completely without any unknowns there. Okay. Of course, x is the variable, but these a and b values have been formed there. Okay. Now let's work out the range of this function. Okay. So put these values of a and b in f of x. So f of x is equal to minus 2 pi sin x, and b value is what? Minus pi cos x plus 2. So from here 2 minus fx, this is 2 and this is your f of x. So 2 minus fx will become 2 pi sin x plus pi cos x. Okay. Now let's go back to the let's go back to the function whose range we are supposed to find. What is that? 2 minus fx, 2 minus fx upon pi. Okay. So this means 2 minus f of x upon pi. This is the value of what? This is 2 minus f of x, whose value is 2 pi sin x plus pi cos x. Okay. So this whole thing will become further divided by what? Pi. So you have 2 sin x plus cos x. And you know, a sin theta plus b cos theta. What is the range? Minus of under root a square plus b square to minimum value, and maximum value under root of a square plus b square. So using this formula, which is well known to everybody, the range of this function is minus of root 5 to plus of root 5. That is the range. Alright students, so this is all in today's session. If you like the discussion, alright, share and subscribe the channel. Let your contacts know about it so that the knowledge of maths is spread to everybody who is in need of it. Alright, myself Sunil Purwar, and my channel name also Sunil Purwar. Okay, see you guys in the next session. Until then, bye.